So hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can add remote FortiGate to FortiManager. So we have a simple setup for FortiGate SD-WAN, and we have FortiGate at the DC. We have FortiManager sitting behind the FortiGate at the DC, and we have two ISP, connected to the FortiGate at the DC, mostly with public IP address. Then we have remote devices as well, remote FortiGate that needs to also be part of the SD-WAN topology, and they need to be managed by the FortiGate, by the FortiManager at the DC. So this actually a simple setup for enterprises and organizations looking into doing Fortinet SD-WAN. So on this now, I've been able to add, the local FortiGate, which is at the DC, to the FortiManager. But I'm going to show you how you can add the remote FortiGate, to FortiManager so that you can be able to manage all in a single pane of glass. So the first thing we need to do is to do a port forwarding on the DC FortiGate so that we can be able to have access from the remote FortiGate as well. So one of them we'll do, we'll pick one of the public IP address here and use it as a virtual IP and create a firewall policies for the port forwarding to be made available. So in this video, FortiManager is 10.53.13.180, which is the IP address for the FortiManager. The FortiGate device management IP is at the DC is 10.15.31, and one of the public IP address we're going to use is 192.168.163.0 network, which we're going to do. So let's get started. So we are adding this FortiGate device, to this. So let's do the port forwarding here. So from the pool of IP address of the public IP address, we're going to select 192.168.163.100. Always ensure that this is a public IP address, that is allocated to the DC for that. Then the ports will be port 541. So we're logging into the FortiGate DC. So here is the FortiGate DC. So on the FortiGate DC, on the interface, on the one interface here would enable, FortiManager access, and we would also, also enable security fabric and click OK. So now we're going to firewall policies. So under virtual IP, we need to create a port forwarding or VIP, rather. Then create, the name is FortiManager. Then the external IP will select the, don't forget, 192.168.163.100. Then the internal IP is the IP address of the FortiManager, which is 10.15.13.180. Then would enable port forwarding. The port for FortiManager access is port 541. So we do 541. Okay. So we have this configured. We need to create a firewall policy for that. So go to firewall policies, create. So create, let's do FMG. Then incoming access will be the one interface, which is this, and the outgoing interface will be port 1. Then source will be all, and destination would be the virtual IP, which is FortiManager. Then we have this, click OK. Okay, service on. Click OK. So we have our firewall policies configured for the port forwarding. So the next thing we want to do is to go straight to the remote FortiGate. So on the remote FortiGate, let's log in. Skip later. Then on the remote FortiGate, we want to ensure on the firewall policies as well. Click on interface, and on the WAN interface, we ensure that the FortiManager access is also on. So what we'll do is go to security fabric connectors, then enable enable this. Put the IP address of the virtual IP, which is 192.168.163.100. So click OK. Once you click OK, so we say waiting for management confirmation from FortiManager. So you click OK. So you go straight to FortiManager and authorize the device. So from here, log into the FortiManager, admin, begin, later, finish. So log into the root device or the ADOM that you're working on. Then you would see the notification here to authorize the device. Check on the details. This is the FortiGate device you want to authorize, then you authorize it. Then if you have any assignment package or anything, just allocate it. But we've not done anything yet on this. Just click OK, OK, and be able to authorize and integrate the remote FortiGate device. Now we've successfully added the FortiGate device. Now we have both the local FortiGate at the DC and the remote FortiGate here, and you can always, enforce your policies and push away. So this is a simple diagram which would actually work for any enterprise or setting or setup. Yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure that you subscribe for more videos. Bye.